Thank you very much. It's great to be here with the former First Lady of the Commonwealth, who is lovely and as passionate about politics as I am. I'm married to an Obama fanatic, so if you engage Kitty in conversation, she'll probably tell you immediately about that. What are the Dukakis doing here? Well, we've kind of figured it out. 9 months in New England, and the right 3 months in Southern California. This is our 13th year at the School of Public Affairs at UCLA. And there are not a few of my former students around here, and there may even be one from Northeastern. I don't know whether Chirag Shah made it, but in any event. And I've been teaching for 16 years, folks, full-time, mostly in Boston, but difficult though it is. We drag ourselves out here in December, we don't go back till April. I also owe you all an apology, at least if you believe as I do this is the worst national administration that we've ever lived under, because if I'd beaten the old man, you'd never heard of the kid, and we would be in this mess. So it's my fault, and I feel that personally every day. I don't have any special wisdom. As a matter of fact, when I speak at forums like this, on this particular subject, I always issue a disclaimer. I mean, if I knew anything about presidential politics, I'd be here in another capacity. So I don't know anything more than you do. But I think what we have had, crazy though it is, and we really do have to do something about this nominating process. I mean, pity the poor candidates. We've emerged from this with what I think is probably the Republican nominee, and two rather extraordinary candidates who are clearly pioneers in their own way, among other things. Who would have thunk it, as recently as 10 or 15 or 20 years ago, that a woman and an African American would be the two remaining and very strong candidates for the Democratic nomination. But I don't have any special wisdom about what's going to happen. If people say to me, who's going to win? I have no idea, folks. I don't think anybody can tell you. This is a very competitive race. I think Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are separated by 70 delegates or something, out of 2,000. And every one of these primaries from now on is going to be important. As a matter of fact, I've got to check to see whether or not former nominees are super delegates. Because this may come down to me. And I don't have to tell you who's going to be lobbying me very hard every day. But I would say this, in a broader sense, and we've only got about 5 minutes apiece, and I don't want to trespass on that. I think we've really got to do two things in addition to focusing on what's happening over the course of the next 8 or 9 months. First, we've got to get rid of the Electoral College. And there's a rather ingenious way of doing so without amending the Constitution of the United States, which is now underway, and I don't know many of you are aware of this. If we can persuade enough states who represent a minimum of 270 electoral votes to vote to join an interstate compact, which binds them to vote their electors in accordance with a popular vote, assuming that the compact has the requisite number of states, we can get rid of this anachronism. Which, by the way, had John Kerry won Ohio in 2004, would have given us another president who hadn't won a majority of the votes in the popular election. And it would have been, in my opinion, just as unacceptable for that to happen as what happened in Florida in 2000. There are two states that have already voted to join the compact, Maryland and New Jersey. I believe the California legislature voted for it, and Schwarzenegger vetoed it for reasons I don't understand. But in any event, I don't understand a lot about California politics, and that's one of the reasons I'm here, to try to learn from these folks. 2/3 votes to get a budget passed and to raise taxes. I mean, this is crazy, folks. But then I'm an Easterner. And secondly, I think we really have to do something about the nominating process. Not that it hasn't, in its own kind of strange way, worked its will. One of the Republican candidates for the presidency was my governor, briefly, for about 6 months. That's Romney. And I want to put this as subtly as I can, but Mitt Romney is a fraud. It's the only way of describing it. And he was a lousy governor. And I think in its own strange way, the nominating process has revealed them to be that.
Right.
And in that sense, it's worked. But requiring the candidates to go through this, I said to somebody the other day, next time the Iowa caucuses will be on Thanksgiving Day, and then who knows where it's going to go from there. So I'd be interested if folks want to get into it tonight, and some of the thoughts that some of the other panelists have about how to deal with this. Personally, I mean, there's no perfect answer to it, but I think maybe 6 regional primaries picked either by lot or whatever. And if you want to start with Iowa and New Hampshire, there is something to be said for getting the candidates on the ground doing retail politics, at least a couple of states, whether it's Iowa, New Hampshire, or others, may make sense. But I do think something a little more sensible than what we've put these candidates through this time around would make a lot of sense, and perhaps give us a little more time to kind of decide what we're going to do here. In any event, I think it's been a fascinating process so far. I don't think John McCain is going to be easy for my side. I hope my party will stop buying into this red-blue nonsense, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you concede half the country to the other side without a fight, don't be surprised if you lose. And I am, as I think some of you know, obsessive on the subject of precinct-based grassroots organizing, and I want to see this party of mine this time do what I'm sorry to say I didn't do, and Kerry didn't do, and a lot of other people, and that is organize every single one of the 200,000 precincts in this country. Precinct captains, block captains, personal contact, no phone banks. I'm not a big fan of phone banks. Personal contact, every single voting household, starting now in every one of the 50 states. And frankly, that's what I'm going to devote myself to, for whatever it's worth, over the course of 8 or 9 months, and see if we can't get the party of the people to start acting like the party of the people when it comes to organizing the grassroots. Thanks.